I propose that we start the webinar. With Cities webinar that is organized by CIB and the International Strategy for Disaster Resilience. It is the fourth in a series of 4 webinars. We had one every day in the last 3 days, with the third one yesterday in Spanish and the first 2 ones in English. The final one, where we will focus on the 10 essentials for making cities resilient, which are the core of a local government self-assessment tool. That this webinar will be recorded. Later on, after we have finalized our whole series, we from the CIB will make all recordings available. We will notify all attendees and all panelists where to access them. We will provide a short summary, and hopefully that can be forwarded to whoever is interested. When you logged in as an attendee, you saw a text that had a link to a part of the website of ISDR that provides a toolkit that is about all those essentials and how to do local assessments. One of the things that can be downloaded is a recent ISDR publication that includes as an annex the 10 essentials. They are a little bit small to read on this slide, so we printed them in a bigger format. The 10 essentials, made available to all those cities who participate in the program, are about having an organization in place with a coordination of stakeholders, having a budget in support of that, doing risk assessments, having an infrastructure that's less or more vulnerable. It's about safety in schools and health facilities, respectively vulnerability. It's about building regulations and land use principles, land use planning principles. It's about training and education. It's about local ecosystem and possible natural buffers and how to optimize them or maintain them. It's about early warning systems and emergency management capacities. And it's about, after a disaster, putting the needs of survivors first and foremost in whatever we do. This is the list of the 10 essentials that helps local governments to make an assessment of to what extent they are ready. This webinar looks at those essentials and how they have been used in practice in 4 different cities. Who was in charge? When was it used? What were the results? Did it work? Are there possible improvements? All those things are being presented in 4 cases, which is in 4 different cities with different presenters. We do not have yet Linda Palast from the city of Johannesburg connected, but hopefully she will be in the coming half hour. We had planned a presentation about experiences in Quito, Ecuador, but Mr. Ricardo Peña Herrera told us yesterday he had some health problems, he could not attend. All the best if he is listening. We will have presentations from Andrea Volzania, presenting the city of Santa Fe in Argentina, Ana Flores, Chacao in Venezuela, and Greg Pilet in Cape Town. Do know that all attendees have the possibilities to submit questions to the presenters, to selected presenters or all presenters. What you do is go to the WebEx meeting center. That's what you saw when you logged in. And in the right lower corner you will find the chat facility. Submit your questions by typing a text in that chat facility and sending it selected to me. I will read all questions. I will present the questions to the presenters in the last half hour when we have a question and answer session. If you want to address a selected speaker, give me his name. If you want your name of the one of your organization or your country to be mentioned, mention that in your question. Sending it by simply pushing the return button. but that's how simple it is. Now, a first speaker was Linda Verlast. Tom, is he already logged in or not yet? Not yet. My suggestion is that we go to Andrea Valzania, if I pronounced that correctly, of Santa Fe in Argentina. In that city, she's the Secretary of Communication, and earlier she was a president of a group on communication. And we all know how relevant communication is if we want to have stakeholders involved.
Sorry to interrupt you, Wim Bakers, but she just disconnected by phone. I don't know why. She's back again. Sorry. Andrea?
Andrea Valzania, are you logged in properly? Are you able to give your presentation now?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Your sound is very weak, so you have to speak as loudly as possible.
Thank you.
What I will do is stop sharing my desktop. That's already happened. Andrea, you are now the presenter. If you go to the top menu on your screen and look for the share facility and share your desktop, then we will be able to see your presentation. Excellent. If you start your presentation, we will all be able to enjoy it. Something is happening. Leia, are you able to open your PowerPoint presentation?
Okay.
Excellent.
Can you see the PowerPoint?
See it. If you have it in the presentation mode so that the slide is the full screen, then the floor for the next 15 minutes is yours.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, all of you. I apologize for my English, but it's not so good. I will try to be clear for you. Santa Fe city is the capital of the province, and it has 400,000 inhabitants. The principal disaster risks in Santa Fe city are the river floods, the high or medium intensity rains, and both factors. Santa Fe city is placed on the floodplain of two rivers, Paraná and Salado, have you seen before, and has experienced emergencies and disasters in many occasions, such as 2003 and 2007, caused by the swelling of Salado River and an extraordinary period of rains, respectively, and we have not prepared to face these events. In 2003, we had 113,000 evacuated people and 23 fatal victims. In 2007, we have 30,000 evacuated people. In March of 2008, we have begins our development plan Santa Fe Ciudad. The disaster risk reduction is a transversal issue, so the 10 essential for making cities resilient allow LG to gather information and action and to identify a unique process and a common sense. Our process was initiated in 2008. Count on a strong institutional commitment and coincides with the priorities suggested by the Chicago Frame for Action. We have some difficulties. The risk reduction is still being identified by many sectors and actors only with preparedness and response to emergencies and disasters. The changing approach for risk reduction must be deepened. Theory must be translated into practice. The 10 essentials have been very useful for gathering, sharing, and disseminating actions related to the UNISDR. LGSAT helps to deepen this process, facilitating the systematization of practice and gathering them into one common sense. LGSAT could be incorporated as an indicator system as well as a tool for risk management. About the 10 essentials, I would like to show you some photos that make the actions that we have done this year. Then first praise, the organization and coordination. We have created the Direction of Risk Management and the Municipal System of Risk Management. The city, the town, was divided into 8 districts or sectors, and respect the second item, the budget. We are working on the budget by program. The third place, we have an early warning system. Both of scientist institutions, and we have a website where we publish all the information for the population. We have done a risk information campaign. You can see some pies. And we have invested in infrastructure, to reduce the risk of flooding in our city. Cleaning of swelling. You can see pumping stations. In the item 5, we have created scholar programs for emergency. Respect the regulation and planning. We have a new urban plan. We have a polite to relocalizations of families. Respect the education programs. We have a lot of experience. Respect the risk, the water risk, theater play, workshops, campaigns, etc. Respect the 8 items, ecosystems and natural buffers. We have recovered the public sites and our rivers, and we have an environmental policy of waste treatment. And we are working to transform the informal collectors into other shops or branches. Respect the item 9, yearly warning system. We have done an intensive campaign to prepare the population. We have improved a system to manage emergency and disasters. We have signalized the meeting points, etc. Respect the item 10, needs during reconstruction. We are working about that. Respect the LGSAT has not been effectively implemented yet, but has been analyzed as a tool. It's an important instrument that could be incorporated to the municipal system of risk management of Santa Fe City. This system is the participating organism that has to be strengthened in order to reduce the local risk and to make our community more resilient, and is coordinated by the Direction of Risk Management as has been established in the Ordinance number 11512. It is expected that this direction will manage and monitor the LGSAT, and that this tool will contribute to enhance the municipal system of risk management building synergy with the general indicator systems as well. Respecting the challenge, a common vision about disaster risk reduced do exist, but the diverse areas may develop specific functions, programs, and actions in an individual manner, thus losing the integral vision. On the other side, there are these opportunities to add these actions and local policies of risk reduction could be missed. So, for us, it is very useful to count on the diverse aspects and indicators included in the LGSAT because they help to go through various programs and actions in order to give them a new meaning and involve new actors. Respect the government levels. Here there are diverse government levels coexisting in the same territory. So there are criteria and guidelines must be unified according to a common approach. The approach should be transversal for the diverse government areas and should be translated into practice. These are some of the main aspects that must be strengthened in our community and at all government levels. In addition, the experience of Santa Fe have not been sufficiently valued at provincial and national level, resulting in a low utilization of the great potential that the experience has to create or strengthen similar processes in other cities, provinces, or regions. Finally, strengthening local government as well as promoting their participation in all decisions that involve them will enhance the dialogue within all government levels. LGSAT implementation will foster these aspects. To support this, the government of Santa Fe City is identifying opportunities for experience exchange and disseminations among diverse cities in the region. It is expected that those opportunities will allow cities to share good practice acquis and lessons learned related to risk reduction. Also will facilitate the incorporation of one common approach and some similar guidelines for reaching effective progress in disaster risk reduction in the region. That's all. Thank you for the opportunity to tell them this polite.
Andrea, thank you very much. This is Wim Bakens again for a very well structured presentation with a clear presentation. I thank you. It could be an example for other cities. I have been made.
Okay.
I will introduce a next speaker, but I don't know whether by now the speaker we had, the first planned speaker we had, Linda Palast, is already logged in.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Reminding her.
Okay, she will come in later. Will remain a little bit flexible. Annelies Flores, are you logged in and are ready to give a presentation?
Okay, yes I am.
Excellent. Anna is from the city of Chacao in Venezuela.
Okay.
You are the presenter now. If you go to the top menu, share your desktop, and then excellent, and open PowerPoint, and the floor is yours.
Okay. Give me a minute to prepare this. Okay, good morning or good afternoon at all. Thank you for even to invite the Chacao municipality, no city, to this conference. This is a honor for us. I am going to do my presentation in the name of Emilio Gaceron, our mayor, that couldn't be here because he's out of the city. Okay, I'm going to take out my hearing because it's very difficult to do the presentation. Okay, just a minute. Okay, we are going to talk about culture for research. That is because the municipality is working with this structure.
Annalise, sorry to intervene, but we are losing sounds.
And progress into the municipality. That is good for us because we are trying to change the culture in respect all the things, but in the case of protection and environment office that I am president, we are focused on risk management. Okay. I want to introduce my municipality. We are in the heart of Caracas, the capital of Venezuela. As you can see here, Chacao is the center of the metropolitan area of Caracas. In the heart is residential and commercial district into the capital.
Anna, may I intervene? You have to speak directly in the microphone, otherwise we lose your sound and only hear half of what you're saying. Yes?
Yes. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, because I hear a voice. Okay. Can I move forward?
This is better.
Okay. Yeah. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Chacao municipality has a surface of 13 kilometers square. That is very small, but most of the municipality is built, and the population is 71,000 more or less. Okay, but we have a floating population that people that are getting in and get out every day as a 1,500,000 of people. Okay, the main activities into the municipality are residential, commercial, office and services, and mixed use, and a very low percent of industry. Okay, the Chacao municipality has been a very high investment in infrastructure into our area. We are talking about big streets and avenues with very very comfortable to walk sidewalks, parks, because we are talking about quality of life, human well-being, and as a part of our culture, citizen culture, we are talking about 2 squares and places to share and to live the city, because maybe for all of you, for the most of you, excuse me, that don't know Caracas. Caracas is a very difficult city. It's very difficult to have a quality of life here, and Chacao is totally different of the rest of the municipalities, at least at the Caracas area. Okay, and the investment is driving to educational centers and to culture centers too. We have the last theater, municipality theater built in the last 20 years, and we have a lot of events at the streets, because we are talking about all the time about to invade the streets to avoid the dangerous situations. Okay, to occupy the streets with the people enjoying the city. Okay, we have hospitals, sports centers, and we have all our infrastructure is that to have as I told you, a quality of life into the municipality. We have a high standard of quality of life. Our social natural risks are in relation with the seismic threats. We are on the active fault system in Venezuela, and in the Chacao municipality, as you can see here, we are sediment thickness are deeper, a very high sediment thickness. We are talking about 400 meters. That in the case of the Caracas Valley is the place where you can find more thickness of sediments. Okay. Furthermore, we are at the north of Caracas. It is a mountain, El Avila mountain, that is a national park. But as you can see in this picture, we have a lot of streams and rivers, and 4 of them cross the Chacao municipality for the center of our municipal area, and that implies that we have a sediment fluid. Okay, what are we doing for risk reduction? Well, first we are we are working on legal framework, attending all the national constitution, all the forest environment regulations, construction laws. But furthermore, we are working at this moment in the urban development Chacao municipality plan that involve the risk reduction because the risk is a value into the equation of development for Chacao. Additionally, we made our environment and risk management plan 2011-2016 is to have a guide what to do in the next. Well, we applied yet 1 year, but we have 4 years more to develop this plan to have a guide what to do in the next 5 years in terms of risk reduction. Okay. Into our actions, we are talking about self-protection in the case of corporation companies that we have a lot of them into our area, and we prepare the brigadas for risk reduction into each company that is totally free in the case of companies that are into the Chacao area. The same actions we are doing in the schools, in the case of our schools, mainly focus on the municipal schools, but also involving the private schools to have our kids prepared in case of any events. We are doing two military self-protection. That is, I think, is the issue into our prevention strategy. Just because the people don't think about the events and the tragedy, only think about that in the case when they are occurring. The people don't have the idea that have to be prepared, and we are very aggressive in this case with the communities, trying to capture them, to work with us in the risk reduction actions. Of course, as most of us, we work with evacuation drill exercises with the communities, at the schools, with the companies. Our permanent operations are included in our permanent operations to the municipality. Okay, but we also do construction and maintenance of drain systems. The mayor used to say in this kind of conference that all of the politics that he knows say that he is, I don't remember the word, excuse me, his construction that into the plan, the government plan, are behind this sense, because nobody knows, nobody see the drainage system. But the last rains during 2011 gave us the reason to this kind of investment, because Chacao didn't suffer any damage during the last rain. Okay. We have a early warning system just located in the 4 streams that cross the Chacao municipality. To be prepared, we have cameras and wireless a wireless system that is located just here at the Civil Protection and Environment Institution. Okay, and we are ensuring citizens' right to know through the CIGAR. CIGAR is our online tool where we put information about the risk and about the environment too, but the people can review here their situation and the relevant information about what is happening in the risk reduction subject. Okay, what are our achievements? Well, as a part of the company network for risk management, we have an alliance with 35 companies into the Chacao municipality. As you can see here, you can check, we have a cluster with companies just prepared to be ready in case of any event. They are going to help us, and we are a network just now, and we have a plan we had a plan last year, and we have a plan for the next three years. And this network is very good because each day a new company has the interest to be part of them, a part of our network. Okay, we are trying to have a user certification that is a challenge for us because we are an opposite government into the Venezuelan country, okay, into Venezuela, and it's very difficult for us being a position to have this user certification because of politics. But we are preparing our team. We have the equipment. We are ready to, in the case the political situation change, we would like to apply to have this certification because for us it could be a recognition. It could be good to recognize the effort to these people, our people, to reach the management into the Chacao, because Chacao is a reference to the national level. Okay. We are working in Ecoescuelas, ISO 4000 certification. The thing with this, it's a part of the operation that we are doing all the time. Ecoescuelas, I work with 5 subjects, and one of them is just risk management with the kids. We have groups of kids that are working with this, managing the concepts. It's just to implant the new culture, the citizen culture respect with the risk management. Okay. Another innovation is our project in relation with one of our streams, that is the Chacaito Creek. We prepare we have a ongoing project about ecological corridor that is just keeping the forest into an area and have an educational circuit. But furthermore, because this project, the forest help us to reduce the risk management, because I was telling you, these streams cross the Chacao municipality, and the forest are as a barrier to any sort of sediments in case of the extreme events. Okay, with this picture, I want to finalize my presentation, and I want to say that for Chacao, we are talking all the time the risk management for life, no the dramatized, no the death. We are trying to improve our framework, saying to people, if you are prepared, you have more opportunity to live. And that's it. I think into the culture citizen is a channel to sell the idea that we have to be prepared. Thank you very much.
Anna, thank you very much. This was excellent. You could hear it very well, very nicely presented. If you stop sharing your desktop.
Okay.
Done.
Then fine again. Okay. I think that we are now ready to hear the 4th speaker, Greg Pillay, if I say that right, representing the city of Cape Town in South Africa, of course, where he's head manager of the Disaster Risk Management Center. Greg?
Yeah, good afternoon, Ben.
We first have to, you are the presenter now, go ahead. If you share your desktop and open your presentation, we can enjoy it.
Fine.
It will be good to hear from the other continent, South Africa again.
Yeah, it's good to hear it from you too as well. Well, good afternoon to all. Let me begin just by saying to you that the city of Cape Town is a metropolitan city situated in South Africa, and it's situated on the southwestern tip of Africa. It consists of 3.5 million people in an area of 2,500 kilometers square. In other words, it's a 50 by 50 kilometer area. It is also the legislative capital of South Africa, where Parliament is situated. The major hazards are fires and floods, informal settlements. That is what we refer to as our so-called slum areas. And then we also have the hazards of vegetation fires during our summer months. The other hazards are sea level rise, which is experienced on part of our coastline, being 207 kilometers in length, and it's part of the climate change as such. We are experiencing quite a lot of urbanization at this point in time, where people are coming in from the hinterland and coming into the city in search of jobs. And this is giving us quite a challenge at this point in time. There are two faces of the city. You have the poorer areas, as I indicated to you, where we have informal settlements. But on the other side, you also have the very rich, where you have homes on the coastline, such as Clifton, Bantry Bay, Camps Bay, Sea Point, etc. And so the challenge for the city is to manage these two faces of the city and to ensure that they, are treated in an equitable way. I'm now just going to go over to the next part of my slide, and I'm going to just try to stick to the brief that's given to us. What was the relevance of LDSAT, local government self-assessment tool, to local government? Well, I can say to you, it served as an excellent checklist to gauge disaster resilience in cities. That's my feeling on it. It definitely provides a roadmap how to build resilience capacity in your city. The City of Cape Town did an evaluation as to what the elements of the 10 essentials are and are in place already, and we found to our surprise that 8 of the 10 essentials were already in place. Furthermore, it is helpful as a diagnostic tool to determine the status of disaster resilience cities, as well as to identify gaps and priorities that need attention to reduce urban risk. I found it to be a good instrument to set the basis for multi-stakeholder engagement in the city and towards working towards attaining disaster resilient status. What was the process that we did, in approaching and using the local government self-assessment tool? Well, we started the Disaster Risk Management Center. That's the center that we refer to here, for which I'm the head. We called a meeting, a workshop of all multiple stakeholders to explain the concept of the local government self-assessment tool. The essentials were worked through at a plenary session with the multiple stakeholders being encouraged to indicate areas where they felt they were contributing or can contribute to the objective of a particular essential in striving to build disaster resilience in the city. So, we tried to get buy-in immediately with the line function departments as well as the other external role players. Now, the stakeholders were also encouraged to adopt the philosophy of disaster risk management is everybody's business, so that risk reduction could become embedded in line function departments in their daily tasks and functions. The stakeholders were requested to go back to their workplaces and to rethink their inputs and their contribution to the 10 essentials in building resilience, and they were asked to submit their proposals electronically by a set date. I think in this instance it was a month. The process in the City of Cape Town was coordinated and managed by the Disaster Risk Management Center. A second and a final meeting workshop was held within a month to conclude the process and to finalize the inputs of the multiple stakeholders regarding the 10 essentials. Using the template provided on the website, the local government self-assessment tool for the city with all detail associated with the various essentials was completed online. Now, how did we use the local government self-assessment tool to date? As part of our International Disaster Risk Reduction celebrations in October 2011, that's last year, the Centre organized a highly marketed event indicating Cape Town has signed up as a role model city for the Making Cities Resilient, My City is Getting Ready campaign in collaboration with UNISDR and ICLE. The city showcased 8 of the 10 essentials in a local program that took place from the 10th to the 12th of October 2011. For this 3-day event, the city partnered with the provincial government of the Western Cape and the national government, where Day 1 was sponsored by the city, Day 2 was sponsored by the provincial government, and Day 3 by the national government. I can further say that the Disaster Risk Management Center of the city was officially opened on day 1, on October the 1st, indicating that this facility was part of Meeting Essential 1. Members of the public and other role players were invited to the official opening of the Disaster Management Center to view the facilities and resources used to provide for the coordination of disasters and to risk reduction initiatives within the city. So we opened this to them, and the next slide coming up indicates the official opening of the center. This is the municipal councillor who is the councillor responsible for the Mako Council, councillor responsible for the mayoral committee, responsible for safety and security, with myself there, and the center was officially opened. This is another view just of the people that basically attended it, and members of the public that were invited as well. Now, part 8 of showcasing of the 8 essentials that the city met included a 3-day exhibition of the various stakeholders. This included the city departments and the external agencies, and this was held on the concourse section of the Civic Center, which is the headquarters of the city, that was accessible to the public. The slide that comes up, it just shows you a slide of the concourse where we had the exhibition, and they all the relevant line function departments were also had exhibitions in that. This is just another photograph coming up, and you can see there, you know, on the topmost part on the one slide there, you'll say Cape Town is getting ready. We personalized it by saying Cape Town is getting ready because we thought this was essential to capture the attention of the public. The media conference was organized as well on the day 2, and 200 learners in grade 6 from 3 local schools were invited to participate to support the disaster risk reduction education and awareness in schools, as well as the signing of the Children's Charter to raise awareness for the need for a child approach to disaster risk reduction, which is alluded to in Essential 5. The slide I'm showing you now is of our council chamber, and where the 200 school children are occupying it, and we found this to be very, very motivational for the school learners because they were occupying the seats, in actual fact, of the politicians, of the local councillors in the council chamber, and it, gave them a sense of pride to occupy those seats. This next slide is just of our mayor, where she had officially signed an enlarged children's charter, and where we had got political buy-in right from the top politically for this initiative. Furthermore, we also organized a seminar in the council chambers which showcased the application of the 8 essentials, with the individual line function departments presenting papers on their input to the essentials in making the city's resilient campaign. This was on day 3. On that day as well, we got the Executive Mayor of Cape Town to launch the Family Preparedness Plan, which was prepared by our centre, and this enables families to be better prepared to handle disasters, emergencies where these incidents arise. We believe it's essential that disaster management planning starts with the family unit, and therefore every family should start with devising a preparedness plan for the family. This initiative has enabled Cape Town now to become the first city in South Africa to be granted role model status by the UNISDR. That is just a copy of a family disaster preparedness plan, which which we have been issuing to all the families now to capture their details and to prepare them. Then my comment in terms of local government self-assessment tool, in terms of its usages between national versus local government. In South Africa, we are fortunate that we have the Disaster Risk Management Act 57 of 2002, as well as the National Disaster Management Framework 2005. This legislation or policy is aligned with the IOGA framework of action. The slide coming up is just a copy of our National Disaster Management Act to the right, and to the left you have the National Disaster Management Framework, which, as I've indicated, is aligned with the IOGA framework of action. And I think for us, just politically, it was the right thing at the right time. We had a new dispensation, and so we could, in actual fact, then start afresh with disaster management, with the disaster risk reduction approach, in terms of what the IOGA framework of action offered us at that point in time. This has made it a statutory imperative to build disaster resilience and disaster risk reduction capacity within all levels of government, as the Act, or the Disaster Management Act, deals with the roles and responsibilities of all three levels of government by dedicating a chapter to each level in the legislation. The experience of the City of Cape Town is that the local government self-assessment tool serves to further reinforce disaster risk reduction and resilience capacity building, and complements the existing statutory instruments. I thank you.
Greg, thank you very much. This is Wim Bakens again. Very well presented, very well organized. It looks like the approach itself is very well organized. I have a number of questions, but that's for later.
Thank you.
If I may be made the presenter again.
Here you go.
Tom, is it so that our first speaker, Linda Palast, is still not online?
No, she was reminded by us here in Rotterdam as well from Geneva, but unfortunately no reply.
Then what we do is go to the questions and answers. During the presentations I received a number. Some are very specific for one presenter, some are more general. I will start with specific questions for the respective speakers. To Andrea Valzania. Andrea, are you still online?
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent. I have a question. Santa Fe is one of the, let's say, the 4 running cities in Argentina on this. You're very active and you suggest that you are willing to help other cities in the countries. Is there something like a national platform for this, where cities meet and can exchange information, where you can share your lessons?
Wait a minute, please. Yes, there is a national platform, but it is not working very well. As we say before, the government, the national level of government, has not a serious polite about risk reduction. So there is a national platform, but it's not very used by the local government.
I have one more question for you. You talked about publication for the population. Can you elaborate a little bit on this? Which was the most successful format of communicating with populations in terms of meetings and publications? The best
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. We have done a campaign to informate the population to be better prepared for the risk of flooding. And we have done publications into the newspapers, and we have done publications in different zones of the city, and we have a website where we publish all the information about the risk, about the actions to be better prepared, and we go home to home, face to face with each citizen, with this information about how to be better prepared for the risk, for the disaster. And also we have done the educative programs in different schools that have done workshops, meetings with the associations, with the neighbors, and we have done these activities one time each year. I don't know if I'm clear.
Oh yes.
And
door to door is surprising and possibly very, very effective.
yes, it's difficult because we have not a risk every year. We have not flooding every year. So the people will forget what to do in case of this disaster. So it's very important that we work with the schools, with the students, with the teachers. We have programs every year that works in each school to repeat this information, to repeat the actions that each one have to know to be better prepared. This was the most successfully, I said. Also other things, but the working in the school was the most efficiently.
Thank you very much. We have a general question where someone wants to ask the presenter an example of a lesson learned. This was one lesson learned. Information to the population is not something you do once, it's something you do permanently, and you include the schools in that. I have one more question for Anna. That's for Anna Flores.
Yes, I am.
That's from Janet Edwards. Janet refers to the company network for risk management that you mentioned, and she wants to know what the private companies involved in this are doing. How are they involved in this, in risk management? And how do you support the collaboration between those private companies and local government? So how do you involve and what do those private companies do?
Okay. In the case of the company's network, we will work with the investors alliance. Okay, the municipality has the role to not obligate to involve the companies into the area, and the law, the work law, it obligates the company to have a brigade, a work brigade for security. The cases that we are engaging the people for security to be prepared in the case of events, and we start the relationships with more of them maybe 10 years ago. In a moment, we decide to put the people together and to plan what to do together, and we start doing the drills. And but after that, we decide that could be involved the municipality, because the municipality gave first capacity. It's very difficult to take people to come here to Venezuela, and we have the relationship outside, and our function, our role is to guide the network to be online, because the events don't occur frequently. But to be prepared, we have to be all the time capacitating and be online. I don't know how to say this. Be aware in the case of anything fast. It's a strategy of alliances, building alliances, sharing an area of interest of these companies and us. And it's very easy because we are engaging them with the things that we share in the case of Chacao municipality are security, but at the same time giving them tools and capacity building. But we share at this moment. It's a really good alliance because they are giving us capacity to spaces to share information. And through the cigar, as I told you, the tool, the online tool, we are putting a website into the page, the web page, to companies be involved in that are involved now and that want to be involved in the future. I don't know if I answered the question.
No, very clear. Thank you very much. But it leads into another question. In the three presentations, the other two mentioned very explicitly the tool and the 10 essentials and how they have been used. Except now in this answer, you did not focus on that too much. How those 10 essentials and the toolkit, have they been helpful to you? How have you used them?
Okay. Well, I prefer to prepare something more like that than the 10 essentials because it's very difficult to present the 10 as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but it's okay. We are working on prevention. We are working on capacity building. We are working with the community and with the key stakeholders to have a prevent and mitigation plan, for instance, to have a rehabilitation plan, working on the resilient subjects in all of our plan that we are developing into the civil protection and environment institution. I could answer you each one of them, but I don't have the presentation of the 10. If you could put the 10 into the screen, I could tell you with more detail about that. If you have a specific question that you would like to know about the 10 essentials.
This is clear. You just did not mention it. You have been using all of them, and you know all the 10 terms, and they are in your plans. You just did not mention it that often.
Okay.
I'm going to Greg for a number of questions. Greg, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm with you, Wim.
Excellent. I have one question from Leni Supriadi. Have there been examples in the past of disasters in Cape Town that influenced the awareness on this that has been helpful for you?
Yes, there has been. We had a number of disasters. We had a tornado disaster in an area called Manenberg in 2000. This was unknown before in this part of the country to have, this type of disaster, but we dealt with it. The interesting one that we also dealt with was the treasure oil spill. This one created a massive environmental disaster. This was a large ship, in actual fact, that had gone aground, a tanker, and in actual fact sank just off the west coast, just above Stable Bay Harbor. It caused a lot of oil pollution, and subsequent to that, we had a lot of penguins that had to be cleaned. And I think something to the order of over 120,000 penguins that were cleaned, and we had a whole community effort, families coming in and cleaning the penguins in an area that was set aside and releasing them back into the sea. So that was the one. We've also had quite a number of vegetation fires, particularly in our summer months. The whole Table Mountain at one point in time was alight, and this is in actual fact also, enabled us to be more prepared now in terms of this particular hazard, of vegetation fires, particularly in the summer months. So our contingencies now we are very dependent now on aerial support, helicopter support, where they can use fire buckets as such to complement the fire service and to get into inaccessible places on the mountain side. And I think ongoing that we face with on a regular basis is the fires and the floods, in particular the fires in informal settlements. And this is in actual fact a major challenge for us in the city of Cape Town, where you have high density levels in the informal settlements and your incidence of fires therefore increases. And so, we are trying to meet this challenge head on and trying to reduce the fire risk within these settlements.
So you're dealing with lessons learned and integrating things in future plans.
That's correct, yeah. The city of Cape Town is a place where you always have action, and so you're always challenged, and I think maybe it's a good thing, it keeps one on your toes.
Excellent. I have one more question. It's from Lee Boscher, but it's also from myself. At a given moment, you started talking about the 10 essentials, and then halfway the presentation, you shifted towards the 8 essentials. Are there two that have been less helpful that you have not been using or addressing?
Yes, we what I can say to you is that now we're meeting all. We meet in particular. We have met 8. There were just 2 that we felt that we could still improve on. Not that we are not applying them. The 2 was basically the one was basically the budget as such and the recovery. Those were the 2 that we felt that we needed to still improve on. But it's not to say they're not in place. It's just that they're not to the level that we would like them to be. And so we certainly are working on them, looking at our funding arrangements for disasters, particularly pre and post-disaster. And we feel that, there could be some work still done on our recovery aspect of it. So those are the 2, and we certainly, I would certainly say, within the next few months, we will be able to report on them and how we've improved on it.
Okay, excellent answer. Thank you very much. I have a number of general questions, but I'll select a speaker to submit the question to. First to Anna. You have been working with the 10 essentials. How helpful have they been, and do you have a recommendation for improvement? What can be better or different for you?
To us, to have this guide, the 10 essentials are good because we have, the opportunity to evaluate our performance in the case of risk management. That is very good. It's very good to be connected with with other people that is working with the same things that we are working on. When I am hearing the presentation from Cape Town and Santa Fe, we are saying, well, we are not lost, but because our job is very difficult. Okay, the challenge are linked with the reality. The reality is very difficult to keep the subject, the risk management on, to be part of the development plans into not the municipality and the national level too, because as I told you, the people only think about risk when the events occur, and we have to be prepared, but in the best way. I think to achieve the government, the key stakeholders, appropriate the risk management could be great. And in the case of us, for me, for my boss, Emilio Brateron, that is involved in these kind of things, I really appreciate that the politicals are considering into the planification.
Thank you very much. And I have one more question.
Yes.
For Andrea.
Yes, for us the 10 essentials were very important because it constitutes a guide to us to order our programs, our actions, to evaluate our actions, to know how we go in this line in the politicals of risk reduction. And it's very interesting to us to compare with another cities, to learn other experience, because we can do better where we are done. And the 10 essentials are on a guide. They're very important thing, but for our government.
Okay, excellent. I have a question for Andrea, but it is a general one. How have you prepared for an absolute worst-case scenario? So there's a post-disaster situation where the whole system has disappeared. There's no communication, there's no power, there's nothing anymore. Do you have strategies in place to deal with such a situation?
I can understand you very well. How we prepare to the next disaster? Have you seen?
Yeah.
Wim, I can understand you.
You cannot understand me. Have you a strategy in place or a program for the population to prepare them for a post-disaster situation where the whole system has collapsed, where you learn them how to behave in case of no more communication, no more infrastructure, no more power?
Yes. I hope that that situation not happen.
No.
But we prepare our plan, our risk plan, our risk management plan. Contemplate different levels, different protocols, different levels of actions. In case of disaster, means I think those. I answer in Spanish. ¿Puede ser?
Okay.
En caso de que el desastre supere las capacidades de la ciudad, nosotros tenemos previsto recurrir a instancias gubernamentales superiores. Esto es the provincial level or the national level. We have included in our plan a coordination with the provincial level. We are working in meetings according with them because our capacities are not sufficiently for this kind of disaster. So it's necessary the help of the national level or the province level. Can you understand me?
Yes, I can understand. Absolutely clear. Let's leave it at that and go for one more question for Greg, while I am putting up the slide with the 10 essentials at the request of Patricia. She'll come in later. Greg, everyone is wondering how different cities risk management is included in the regulatory system or building regulations. Can you give an example of how you in Cape Town have been handling this?
Well, if I understand your question correctly, you understand how does one bring about regulations to enforce disaster risk management? Okay. Then, if I can relate to you the Cape Town experience, we have the Act as such, which is legislation that has become about now in the last 10 years. It's the Disaster Management Act 57 of 2002. We started this legislation initially with a green paper, and then it progressed to a white paper, and eventually we had the Act. But there was a lot of in-between collaboration between the various services as well as the various role players, and inputs were basically gained, from the various stakeholders in formulating this legislation. It's not exactly easy. It's an ongoing attempt where one is trying to get line functions to understand that they need to build in risk in the everyday functions. So, we referred this. I referred to this in my presentation as getting line functions to basically ingrain that type of risk reduction within their plans. And I think when one a simple example that I'd like to give you is, if you just take a street sweeper, for example, if he is told, for example, that he's undertaking a risk reduction function because he is avoiding debris from going in, collecting into a drainage system that will, that will not lead to the drains being clogged in a flooding situation. That is one way, in actual fact, that you get people to understand they have to contribute. So what we try to do is challenge the line function departments to come about with risk reduction initiatives and to build it in the everyday work as such.
Yes, thank you very much. But a follow-up question for myself is state in this issue of including risk management and regulations more important than in many other regulatory issues?
No, I wouldn't say. No, I wouldn't say so. I think it's just that the concept here in South Africa is a new one. We spoke about the terminology before of civil defense and civil protection, and we're trying to also get everyone to understand that they have an important role to play in disaster management. That is why we have the slogan, disaster risk management is everybody's business. So the ordinary member of the public out there also has to contribute to reducing risk. And if I can just allude to that one question that you asked one of the previous panelists in terms of what they would do to how they would cope in a situation where all the systems went down, I think it points out to the issue that one must try and make the individual citizens out there self-sufficient so that they can cope in a disaster on their own. And I think the family preparedness plan points in that direction of making individual family units self-sufficient. Thank you.
Okay, I found that a very intriguing concept, the family preparedness plan. But we don't have the time to go into that. If you want to make a document on that available to the attendees, then send it to us. We will have it included in our final report that we will make available to everyone so people can download something. But that's up to you.
Certainly, we could arrange that.
Okay, thank you very much, Greg.
Okay.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, that we have come to the end of our questions and answers. I think we had three, very stimulating presentations from Andrea, Anna, and Greg. All three of you, my compliments and my thanks. I think the topic is important enough to invest in having good presentations. You obviously have done so, and we thank you for that. There are some final words before we close from a representative of ISDR, Tricia, and from CIB, and that's myself. Tricia, are you ready to make a couple of final remarks on this, to have a closing on behalf of ISDR? Tricia.
Sorry to interrupt you here. She has a telephone connection problem at the moment. I just received an email, so.
It's a matter of 1 or 2 minutes and we solve this?
I hope so.
Okay. Then I'll make some final remarks myself and hope to my last slide. As concerns CIB, we have been facilitating this webinar together with ISDR, and we have enjoyed doing it. The series of webinars also for us is a new experience, but certainly shows a lot of potential. It also shows that it is extremely important to spend a lot of time on preparing and testing. My thanks especially to Tom. Tom, you have been working on this for almost a week, I think. Very well done. The whole thing went rather smoothly. For all attendees, do know that we have recorded all 4 webinars. We hope that in a few days, a week or so, we will be able to send you a CIB news article with a short summary of the outcomes with a hyperlink to where you can see all those recordings. We will split them up and have a presentation per person, per speaker, the separate recordings of the question and answer sessions. So you'll have approximately 20 recordings you can choose from. We will hope that you will use that news article that we will send to all of you to forward it to people in your own network that you think should be interested in looking at those recordings.
Hello, Tricia.
Yes, hi.
CIB will continue to facilitate this together with ISDR. Tricia, you have some final remarks on behalf of ISDR?
Yes, thank you very much, Wim. Apologies for the feedback here. First of all, I'd like to congratulate CIB for staging a very successful webinar series this week, and to thank all of our panelists and participants who've dialed in from all over the world. I think we had an incredibly impressive turnout, and certainly gives us confidence that this is an important subject globally across developed and developing countries, and gives us some thoughts on how to move forward for future series. It's great to see how many questions were received throughout the web series and today, and also to hear from the cities on how they utilize the 10 essentials and tools like the local government self-assessment tool. Andre, for example, wonderful to hear how the LGSAT's application is giving guidance and definition to multiple actors on disaster risk reduction, and equally, Anna, understanding how you've utilized the campaign and are developing partnerships with private sector. That's exactly the type of practice the campaign is trying to foster. So we very much appreciate the feedback on that. And then Greg, really, who of course was Cape Town being one of the pilot cities in South Africa for the local government self-assessment tool, and hearing how when you really started to look at this, you realized how that 8 of the 10 essentials were already in place. And I think that's a really critical point, because we are trying to understand that a lot of activities are actually underway, and that we need to identify and deepen our understanding of how they relate to disaster risk reduction. And that's another objective of the campaign, and helping working with cities across the world to do that is critical in our ability to reach communities and identify where disaster risk reduction activities and best practices are actually already in place, and to share that knowledge and those learnings with others. I was also impressed with Greg's approach to the family disaster risk preparedness plan, and understanding that this really does happen at an individual level. So it's also something for us to consider as we continue our discussions in future series. So again, thank you very much to CIB and to all our panelists and participants for your enthusiastic support and participation.
Thank you very much, Tricia. A last word on behalf of CIB. We are a network of people active in research and innovation. We bring experts together to collaborate and exchange worldwide in commissions. We have expert commissions with 50 to 100 of those experts. I want to mention 3 that are especially relevant in this area. We have a group and leadership, Cassidy Johnson and Lee Boscher. We have heard them speak. PG Task Group 63 on disasters in the built environment. They were the platform within CIB to do this series of webinars. But we also have a commission, W108, Working Commission 108, on climate change in the built environment, looking into how the built environment can prepare for climate change. And we have a commission, 110, on informal settlements, who published 3 downloadable publications on how informal settlements play a role in urban sustainability. We will provide some information on this and allow you access to those 3 downloadable publications in the coming weeks. I hope you don't mind that we use your addresses to push forward this information. And at the end, I thank all speakers. I thank ISDR for an enjoyable collaboration. I thank all the attendees. Do know that we had approximately 800 registrations for the 4 different webinars. Not everyone who registered actually attended, but they will all be included in the follow-up series of contacts where we provide information, where we provide the recordings and everything. We enjoyed it. I hope you did. I thank you very much. All of you.
Yes.
This is the
Thank
end of this.
you for you.